All right, let's get right into it. We're diving into this really powerful story. It's all about a promise, just an incredibly long wait, and what home actually means. You know, it's one of those tales that just sticks with you, makes you think about what's really important.
This right here, this line is basically the entire story in a nutshell. It's so true, isn't it? The most important things, the biggest feelings, they often come from something, well, something small. So let's see how our characters get to this realization.
So, picture this. We're starting in this quiet little town right by a river. And our main character is this 6-year-old kid, Ion. His whole life, and I mean his entire life, is about to pivot on just one single moment.
And this was the promise. His dad says this right before he leaves. I mean, talk about ambitious, right? The biggest house in this town. It's coming from a good place, from love, for sure. But wow, that sets up this huge expectation, this idea that love and success look like a giant building.
So the promise is made, and then the waiting starts. And this isn't just any wait. This is a wait that's going to stretch on and on, way longer than anyone ever thought. For a little kid like Ion, waiting just becomes, well, his whole life. It's this constant thing in the background, a mix of hope and, is he ever coming back?
And this just shows you the sheer scale of it. I mean, think about it. It starts with a little kid just looking out the window, you know? But then days turn into months, months turn into years, and before you know it, a whole decade has gone by. His entire childhood just waiting.
But through all that time, there was this one thing that held all their hope, a lamp. And it wasn't just, a lamp to see by. No. For them, it was a beacon. It was this message they were sending out into the night, every single night. For Ian, it was basically magic. He thought that little light could reach his dad, no matter how far away he was.
Of course, holding on to that kind of hope, it's not easy, not at all. Ion had to deal with so much doubt. Other kids, you know how they can be, they laugh at him. Your dad's never coming back. But Ion's defense was always that light. He believed in it. It was like his shield, his way of saying, no, you're wrong. He's just lost, and this light will bring him home.
Okay, so now we're at a really crucial turning point in the story. Time keeps moving, and that flame of hope, well, it's about to be passed on. The responsibility for keeping that light on, it shifts completely to Ion. This is where the story really, truly becomes his.
And time it doesn't stop for anyone, right? Ion's growing up, he's not a little boy anymore. And everything around him is aging too. The lamp is getting older, more worn. And his mom, she's getting weaker.
Then, one night, it's stormy, it's cold, and his mother, with her last words, she asks him to take over. Promise me, you will keep the light on. And this isn't just a simple request. This is everything. It's a promise to keep the first promise alive.
And he did. Just like that. No hesitation. Those 3 little words, and he did, they are so heavy with meaning. He just accepts it. It's his duty now. He's honoring his mom, and he's keeping that hope alive. So now he's the keeper of the flame. And you gotta understand, this wasn't easy. This was a choice he had to make every single day. Even when oil for the lamp cost too much, even when storms were raging, trying to put it out, and even when that little voice in his head must have been whispering, what if this is all for nothing? Okay, fast forward another 10 years. So we're at 20 years total now. Can you believe that? 20 years of lighting that lamp. And then, finally, that single steady light does its job. It pulls someone out of the night. A stranger shows up, and you can just tell life has been hard on him. His clothes are worn, his eyes are just heavy, and he's following that light. He's not coming back a hero with riches and success. No, he's returning a broken man. And listen to his first words. I am late. I am so late. There's no big story, no excuses. It's just instant regret, a raw, painful admission that he failed and that he's been carrying that failure for 2 decades. And then, Ion. Can you imagine this moment? He asks the one question he's been holding inside his entire life. Are you my father? Everything, 20 years of waiting, it all comes down to this single question.
And the father, he just lays it all out. The tragic irony of it all. He explains that he went searching for money, for success, to build that biggest house. But in doing so, he lost his way back. He lost himself.
And this reunion, it's not a purely happy one. It's bittersweet, right? But it's here, in this moment, that we get the real conclusion. This is where everything finally makes sense. Then Ian says something so simple but so incredibly powerful. It never went out, not once. That's not him being angry, it's a statement of fact, a testament to 20 years of love, of faith, of a promise he kept for his mom.
And this slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? The contrast is so clear. The promise was a house, something physical, something you build with money. But the reality was a home that had been built over 20 years with things you can't buy, with hope, with love, with waiting.
So that night, the lamp's job changed. It wasn't a signal anymore, a desperate call out into the darkness. Nope, that night, it was a celebration. It was a warm glow on a family that was finally together again. Its mission was complete.
And that brings us right back to the beginning. Sometimes the smallest light carries the biggest love. That little lamp, that tiny flame they protected for so long, it was so much more than a house. That light was the home. It was always the home.
So the story ends, but it kind of leaves us with this question, you know? It makes you think. In our own lives, what's our lamp? What's the small light of hope or love that we're keeping on day in and day out?